Hi, guys. Today, I'm going to share with you a very, very unique way to go after expired listings when the previous realtor listing agent used the wrong first photo or the wrong photos altogether. And I know you'll be impressed. I'm telling you, I've done this for the last 10, well, almost 15 years. And I've perfected a system that I'm anxious to share with you. And I know you'll be impressed. My name's Jim McCord. I've been a realtor since 1993. And I've been using this for the last 15 years. And I started about 15 years ago, and 7 or 8 years ago, I wrote this book, and I share a lot of it in this book, but not all of it. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Expired listings. Why do I say expired? First off, well, expired listings are great because they're probably going to list again really soon. They've been listed once, and they're more realistic than a for sale by owner is on the price. As you guys probably have experienced, almost every for sale by owner thinks their house is worth way more than it is. And unfortunately, we have a lot of realtors who will agree to list a home at almost any price that the seller wants. And a lot of realtors aren't like that, but a lot are, and you know that. And most sellers are going to go ahead, if they're for sale by owner and they haven't been on the market, they're probably going to pick the agent who agrees with their price. So expired listings are better for that reason. The sellers are more likely to list at a reasonable price, and they're also more likely to list quicker than a for sale by owner. If you work for sale by owners, you might have to work them for months before they even decide if they're going to list. So expired listings are great. And a lot of you are saying, well, Jim, we don't have many expired listings. Well, you can go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years and work expireds. Every MLS has plenty of expireds. I've been coaching realtors for the last 6 years. I've been on over 175 different MLSs, and I have yet to be on an MLS, 175 different ones, yet to be on one where there weren't plenty of expireds, even in today's market. So the old expireds are great for 2 reasons. Number one, because chances are their house is worth a lot more than it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. Let's face it, it's probably worth more than what it was listed for. It was probably overpriced when it expired. But now, 3 or 4 or 5 years later, it's probably worth more than what it was listed for. And secondly, the older expireds, very, very few agents are going after them. So those are the 2 reasons you want to go after the old expireds, especially. Now, here I say, going after the old expireds, in my opinion anyway, and what I did is you don't want to go after just any expired. You want to pick the ones that have the bad photos, especially the bad first photo. And when you meet with that seller, either when you talk to them over the phone or especially when you meet with them, you need to explain why that first photo is so important and why their previous agent's photos were not good. And this is what I tell them, what you see on the screen. I explain to them that almost all buyers either get on their cell phone, their tablet, or their laptop, and they search for listings. They put their parameters, price range, zip codes, cities, counties, whatever, number of bedrooms. And what pops up is a single line list. But all those buyers see is the first photo of each one of those matching listings. And if that first photo isn't great, it's not going to grab their attention. And you'll see that here in my presentation. But you need to explain that to the sellers. I pulled this off. This is a current or a very recent realtor.com buyer search, like a buyer were to search. And I think this was like between 300 and 500,000. I'm not sure. But my system works on average homes and high-end homes, which you'll see. But if a buyer did this search and came up with this screen, this is what they see, that first photo. Now, every one of these photos is a decent photo. But if one of these realtors had used drone photographer, used an FAA-approved drone photographer, and the first photo was an aerial photo, your eyes and other buyers' eyes who saw the screen would go right to that aerial photo first. So there's 2 reasons aerial photos are great for the first photo. Number one, it's different than all the other photos. 95+% of realtors they stand in front of the house, or they have their photographer stand in front of the house, take that photo right in the middle of the yard, and that's the first photo. So it's different. It stands out. And the buyer search, when you're looking at a bunch of photos, an aerial photo really stands out. Secondly, it shows more of the yard. If it has a great view or not, if it's just a nice yard or an average yard, it still shows more of the yard. So it stands out. This is what Realtor.com search looks like. And you'll see not one of those is an aerial photo. This is a Zillow search. Every one of these should have been an aerial photo, and they would have stood out more, and it would have showcased the property more. Now, what I'm going to share with you is some listings that I got in my last 3 or 4 or 5 years, where the previous agent's photos were on the left. I use my system, and I'm going to share a good part of my system on this presentation towards the end, how you meet with these sellers. Because now I got a really good system for you to show a seller why they needed an aerial photo and better photos throughout. But you do need to meet with the seller, and I'm going to get to that here in a few slides. So hang in here with me; you'll be impressed. But first, I'm going to show you these actual listings that I got because the previous agent used the wrong photo. So this house on the left was listed actually 4 different times by 4 different realtors, and each one of those 4 listing agents used a photo very similar to this one. Stand in front, take a photo, and it's a decent photo. It's clear. But when I met with that seller, I showed her and her husband the MLS, and I showed them that photo. I said, "Can I ask you, why did your agent use this photo?" Pointing to the photo on the MLS. They said, "Well, I don't know." And I said, "Well, let me tell you why that's the wrong photo." And then I explained to them, what I shared with you on the previous screen here, how buyers are searching for property. And I let them know, boy, if we had an aerial photo as a first photo, you're going to get way more showings. Sellers understand that when you explain it to them. And then the photo on the right, that's the photo that we used. Obviously, this photo is going to get way more showings than that photo on the left. Same with this one. This was like a mini farm. It was like 9 or 10 acres. And the photo on the left is the actual photo that realtor used. I did not put the white above and below the house. That was the actual first photo. And it was right around $1 million, and it was 9.5 acres. So when I met with that seller, I showed her the MLS, showed her the photo. I said, "Why did your agent use this photo?" She said, "Well, I don't know." And I said, "Well, let me explain why that's the first photo." And then I tell her how buyers search for properties. And I said, "Well, we get a FAA approved drone operator out here. Potential buyers are going to see your whole 10 acres, and they'll see that you have 2 big barns and a big lake, especially on a property like this one, because what buyer is going to buy that house when it has 2 barns, both of which are bigger than the house?" So it's really important, especially on a listing like this, that you have an aerial photo to attract the right kind of buyer. And the seller understood that, and she listed with us. This is another one. This was $650,000, and this was listed for over 500 days with a photo on the left. And this was actually, it was the top realtor in the market at that time. And I drove out, and I was dropping a drop letter off. What's a drop letter? I'll share that with you in a minute. But I was dropping a drop letter off, and I decided, no, this time I'm not going to drop it off. I'm going to knock at the door. So I pulled out their driveway. I rang the doorbell. The owner came out. I knew his name. His name was Art. I won't use his last name, but name was Art. I didn't know him, but I searched it, as you have to do on the tax site, to make sure that the owner still lives in the house before you mail anything out or drop anything off or door knock. You need to make sure that the owner actually lives there. Don't forget that. That's really important. So anyway, I knew his name was Art. I rang the doorbell. He came to the door. He goes, "Who are you? What do you want?" I said, "I'm Jim McCord. I'm with Keller Williams," which is who I was with at the time. I'm with EXP now, but it doesn't matter. The system works no matter what company you're at. I said, "I'm Jim McCord. I'm with Keller Williams, and your listing expired yesterday." And he said, "Oh, I'll stop you right there." He goes, "I don't like realtors. I'll tell you that right up front." He said, "I had my house listed with the top realtor in the market. If she can't sell it, you probably can't either." And I said, "Well, Art, can I have just 1 or 2 minutes of your time? That's all I need. I don't even need to get in your house." And he said, he kind of laughed, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll give you 2 minutes." So he stepped out on the porch. And I had the MLS photo with me, and I pulled it up, his MLS sheet, and I pointed to his photo, and that photo on the left. I said, "Art, can I ask you, why did she use this photo as the first photo?" He said, "Well, it's my house." And I said, "Yeah, but this house looks like a barn from this photo." I said, "I'm not knocking your house. I looked at the photos. It's spectacular on the inside, and the view is really spectacular. But you can't see that." I said, "It looks like a barn, and compared to other $650,000 houses, it's not going to show well." And then I explained buyers get on their cell phone, tablet, laptop, and they, pull up 600, 700,000. All those homes pop up, just a one-line list, and all they see is his first photo versus the other $600,000 to $700,000 homes. And that photo is not going to show well. And I told him, I said, when you list with me, we'll get a drone up in the air, and the photo will show that you back up to a golf course and that you overlook the river with a spectacular view, and we will get showings. He agreed, and he said, Jim, do you have time to come in and see my house? I did. We toured his house, and he listed with us that day. Same with this one. Now, this one's very unusual, and I know when I show this, realtors tend to think, well, I blurred that photo intentionally, and I did not. And it's very unusual to see a photo this bad, but that was the actual photo on the left, and it was a $2.5 million home. So, I won't go through it all, but I met with the seller, showed him that photo, and it was really easy on this one. And I said, this is horrible. Can you believe this photo? And then I explained how buyers search for properties, told him when he lists with us, we'll get a drone up in the air. So he did list with us, and we use that photo that you see on the right, which is obviously, this photo is going to get way more clicks than this photo. Same with this one. This home was listed over 2 years, 2.2 million. It was over 100 acres, had a 10-acre lake, and had 2 homes on it, a pool, and the agent used that photo on the left for all 2 years. I met with that seller, explained how buyers look, told her we really need to get a drone up in the air. If you get a first photo that's spectacular, you're going to get way more showings. She agreed, and she listed with us. Same with this one. Photo on the left, this was listed for $1.9 million. The house looks like maybe a $400,000 house, nowhere near $1.9 million. It's a long story why we didn't use a drone. We could have. I'll get into that if I coach you, but we used that photo on the right side, which is the back of the house, and we got 2 showings in the first 3 days. This was a tough market back then when this house was listed. It wasn't the market we're in now, but they had no showings in 18 months. And the biggest part of that was, look at that house. Who's going to click on that house for $1.9 million when you compare that with all the other $2 million homes in this market? And I share this one only because it's not, first photo is the most important, but the inside photos are also very important. And about 30% of the time is what I experience when I get on other MLSs and on our own MLS. About 30% of the realtors use really bad photos on the inside either. Also, I mean, they actually take MLS photos with their own cell phone, a lot of them, or other ones use so-called photographers, but they're not real photographers. And the home on the photo on the left was a previous agent's photo of the dining room. I use the photo on the right. Our photographer has a wide angle lens, and he's a professional photographer. So inside photos are equally important, not equally, but almost. So the key is, now that you know how to target, which expireds to target, and what to say to them when you do meet with them, the key here is to get the listing appointment. And you'll see I use Mailbox Power and 9 other methods of prospecting and follow-up. And these are the methods that I use. And I coach these to my agents, and I go over these each in detail. But a drop letter, what's a drop letter? I'll show you real quickly. A drop letter is I print out a letter myself on my computer, Microsoft Word, whatever word processor you use. And I'll show you that in a minute. And I put it in an envelope like this. I don't put it in my company envelope because I don't want them to know it's coming from a realtor. They'll know that once they open it up and read it, but I don't want them to know it because a lot of people don't like realtors so much. If it's in a real estate folder, they'll pick the whole folder or envelope up and pitch it in the garbage right away. They won't even open it. So I have been using these for years, and it works. I put the seller's name there and then confidential. And sometimes I use white bubble wrap. Sometimes I use brown craft. Sometimes I use yellow envelopes. But this is an example of a drop letter. The owner's name and then your information. That goes inside of the envelope on the top. Below that goes a printed MLS sheet. And I highlight the address of the property and the date it expired on the MLS sheet. That goes right below the drop letter. And then my business card goes right below that. And I like to use these butterfly clips that you get at Staples to hold those 3 things together in the envelope. And drop letters you print out individually. Quite often I'll go ahead and I'll put the photo of the house that I'm going after on the drop letter. And then I customize it. I put their name and I customize it to make sense for that particular home. So I'm sharing different drop letters. And I put this in here just so you guys understand that my system works for sale by owners just as well as it does expireds. I prefer expireds, but you can use the system on both. And this is an example of a drop letter that I would use for sale by owner. Obviously, the wording's different. I put for sale by owner, then a photo of their house, their name, and then that's wording similar to that. And we'll go back to the 9 methods here. So that's what a drop letter is. Mailbox Power, custom cards and gifts. What are those? I'll show you what those are now. And those are very, very powerful. You're going after this expired listing. And so you get a photo of that house. I drive out and get a photo, and you don't need a professional photographer for these marketing purposes, you know, to get the listing. Obviously, once you get the listing, you're going to use a professional photographer. But for sending the Mailbox Power products, you can use your cell phone. So you go out and take a photo of the house you're going after. And this is a gigagram. This is a 8.5 by 11 heavy stock card that gets delivered in this envelope, a 9 by 12 envelope, and you customize the envelope as well as you do the card. So they get the envelope that you see on the screen, and I'm also holding it. They get that envelope in the mail, and it's got a photo of their house on it, so they're pretty impressed. And they open it up, and there's this heavy stock greeting card, again with a photo of their house on the front of the card. And on the inside is the information that I typed up. You know, I designed the card on my laptop, and then I don't print these cards. Mailbox Power prints the cards, the envelopes, any other gifts that I send, and they mail them. But I do design them. So you put whatever you want on the inside of the card. And these are really nice, heavy stock greeting cards. Very heavy stock, and they're impressive. So much better. Keep in mind what all the other realtors are doing is sending company information, you know, about EXP, Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, Sotheby's, you name it. And they're phone call, phone call, phone call, phone call. That's what they're doing. So when they get something like this in the mail with an envelope like that with a photo of their house, they're impressed. And you can also send things like this, like a box. This was an expired listing, like $1.5 million, and sent them this box. This is obviously not the shipping box. This is a box inside the shipping box. But I went out and took photos of their house, put it on the lid of a box, and also put it on the card. So when they open this box, they see this greeting card right here, and I put a photo of their house on it. And this particular one, I didn't make the house the whole front of the card. I shrunk it, put a frame around it, and put these words: your listing is expired. Are you still interested in selling? And on the inside, that was what I put on the inside of that card. And then on the back. And you also can send, you don't have to send all these, but I really wanted to get this listing appointment. So I put a photo of their house on a coffee mug. Actually, I put 2 photos, photo of the front of their house and a photo of the back of their house on a coffee mug. So all of that was delivered in a shipping box to them. Now think about that. If that's your house and you're getting all these phone calls from all the other realtors because your listing expired last week, and you're getting company mail, phone call, company mail, and then you get a box delivered with photos of your house on the box, on the card, and on a mug. It's impressive, gets their attention. There's other things, there's dozens of things that you can design and have sent through Mailbox Power. I'll just share one more here. It's like this was an expired listing. So you drive out, take the photo, send them this box, and they open the box. And when they open the box, what they see is a postcard, a 8.5 by 5.5 postcard with a photo of their house. So they're going to turn that around. And the wording on the back, you know, put their name. Your listing is expired. I'd love to meet with you to share what I'll do to get your home sold for maximum value in quickest time possible. Piece the enclosed puzzle together, then call me. I'm looking forward to meeting you and touring your home. And you're probably thinking just what a potential seller would think. What's he talking about? Piece the enclosed puzzle together. But when they look back in the box, they see this little blue bag with 12 puzzle pieces. And when they put those puzzle pieces together, which literally takes a minute, it's actually a puzzle of their house. You can see the puzzle pieces. And on this one, when you design the puzzles, you can make it just a photo, or you can put words on top of the photos. I put sold. So think about that. If this is your house and all the other realtors see that your listing is expired, and what are they doing? 90% of them are calling every day. And some of them are also mailing company information, but you get this from a realtor with photos of your house. It really sets you apart. And then what you see below the Mailbox Power custom cards and gifts are the other ways that I coach agents to follow up and prospect. Facebook messages, LinkedIn, email, knock at their door, not knock right up front unless the photo is really bad. Then it's good to knock. Phone calls. Yeah, I do use my phone, and phone calling is one of the 10 methods of follow-up that I use. Text messages, video messages. Video messages are phenomenal. You take this phone that we got, click on camera, turn the camera around so it's facing you, just record a 20-second message to that seller, send that to them either as a text message if you have their cell phone, as a Facebook message if you found them on Facebook, as an email message, whatever. It's really powerful. And then if you find them on LinkedIn, you know where they work. If they work for a corporation, I'll drop these drop letters off. I won't go to the office and ask for them, but I will drop these off. So anyway, that gives you some idea of what my coaching system is. It's not all Mailbox Power. Mailbox Power is a good part of it. But so these are the takeaways. Work expired listings. Look for the expired listings with the wrong first photo, especially when the first photo should have been an aerial photo. And also you want to look for all the photos. And if they have poor quality photos throughout, then you really have something. You definitely want to go after those. You want to use Mailbox Power and as many of those 10 methods I shared follow up as possible. And when you meet with that homeowner, make sure you bring the MLS so you can hold it up and show the photo that the previous agent used and ask them, hey, why did your last realtor use this photo? And then you can explain. And then when you get a listing, never, ever take your own photos. Always hire a professional real estate photographer. Always hire an FAA-approved drone photographer, aerial photos. We're not allowed to take our own. Don't go out and buy a drone. And I wouldn't suggest that you get FAA-approved. You're a realtor. You're not a drone operator. It even looks better if you're not the drone operator, if you actually pay a professional drone operator. So don't do it yourself. And then I like to order the placement of the photos on the MLS, not like a walking tour like 90% of other realtors do. I like to make the first inside photo. First photo should almost always be an aerial photo. And the first inside photo, in my opinion, should be the most impressive room in the house. Second photo is second most impressive. Because we're all visual, we click, click, click. But if we lose interest, we quit clicking. So anyway, that's my suggestion. And then the agents I coach, I suggest that they prospect 10 old and new expireds, or expireds and for sale by owners a week. Because that's an average of 2 a day. It only takes an hour or two to do 2 of these a day, 10 a week. That's 40 a month. And the agents that I coach are getting between 2 and 4 new listings each month when they use this system. These are the 2 books that I coach out of. The one thing, obviously, is Gary Keller's book. It's phenomenal. And it is, even though Gary Keller wrote it, it is not a real estate book. It teaches you how to focus. And when I was given that book, it changed my life and my career. Truly, that's why I use it still to coach out of, because I was not focused. And when I learned how to focus, watch out. I'll go into that more detail with you if you call me and I start coaching you. The book on the right is a book that I wrote 7 or 8 years ago, Revolution Real Estate Sales. It is on Amazon. You can get it for, I think, $8.75. It's a very short book. It's less than 100 pages, unlike any other real estate book, because I'm not trying to teach realtors everything about real estate. In this book, what I share is how to get listings, how to go after for sale by owners and expireds. And I will send you that book absolutely free, my book, if you join Mailbox Power. And now these are the 2 ways that you can join Mailbox Power. There's Pro, which is $79 a month, and Executive $199 a month. join. I'm going to share my link. Join under me. When you join under me, it is an affiliate marketing company. So in full disclosure, I do get a little bit of money when you join under me and use it. But the agents that join either way get my book sent to them, and the agents that join at the executive level, the $199 a month, I coach for free. And there's so many other benefits you get. If you're a realtor and you want to use Mailbox Power, believe me, you want the executive level. $199 a month, that's $2,400 a year. Plus probably another 3,000 or 4,000, so 5,000 a year you're going to spend on Mailbox Power total between monthly subscription and what you send out. If you get 5 sales a year that average 8,000, that's $40,000. Are you kidding me? You'll get way more than 5 sales a year because you use this. You'll get probably 15 or 20. But those are the 2 ways to join. This is my link, mailboxpower.com/McCord. Like I said, do sign up with the executive plan. Although if you want to sign up with a pro, I'll send you my book. I won't coach you for free, but I will send you my book. And you can always upgrade to the executive if you want to try it out for a month or 2 at the pro level. But if you do sign up, be sure that you call me or text me so I can send you a copy of my book and get you scheduled for coaching sessions right away. There's my phone number. And I can only tell you this, I've been a realtor since 1993. I tried about everything. I paid that coach who's still around when I started back in 1993. And what I was taught was cold phone calling. I did that. I cold phone called 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day for 5 days a week. And I did that my first couple of years, and it worked. And it works now for those who want to do it, but it is pure misery. If you've ever tried it, you know it. And even though it works, I still haven't done it, nor would I advise anybody does it, because sending these kind of things through the mail and these big gigograms, you don't have to make 2 hours of cold phone calls a day. You just you selectively choose which expireds you're going to prospect. Use Mailbox Power and those other 9 methods of prospecting, and you will do really well. Jim McCord, there's my phone number. There's my email. I'll gladly get on a Zoom with you or a phone call, answer any questions you have. But there's 2 ways to join again, and there's my link. Call me if you have any questions. You guys have a great day.